Sawadee-ka! Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen! So a secret goal that I have for the channel is to turn all of my grandma's signature dishes into videos to preserve them for my son and beyond. I have shared many of her dishes in the past and I'll put the links in the description below. And today I have another one. It's a simple shrimp stir fry that if you were to ask her for the recipe, she would look at you weird and say, "There's no recipe. You just stir fry some shrimp." But it is not, you see, because it always tastes a particular way. It has an identity. It is sweet and garlicky, and it's one of those things that she would make when there are shrimp in the fridge and no other ideas. So this is a taste of very basic, simple Thai home cooking, but with my chefy twists, of course. Let's get started. First, we're going to pound lots of garlic into big chunks. You can also smash them with the side of a knife and then roughly chop, but chunky is key because these are going to turn into delicious garlicky goodness. If you see a lot of big green sprouts in the middle, just take them out. I don't always do this, but for a recipe that uses a lot of garlic like this one, these can impart a bitter flavor. Then I'm going to take out most of the garlic and leaving just about 1 clove's worth in there. And then I'm going to add some white peppercorns and some chopped cilantro stems. If you've got cilantro roots, you can use them here. And then I'm going to pound it into a fine paste. This is what we call sam gleu or 3 friends, which is a very basic herb paste in Thai cuisine. Next, I'm going to make the sauce by simply mixing together some oyster sauce, fish sauce, sugar, water, and some shrimp paste in oil. Now, let me talk about this shrimp paste in oil. Whenever I've used this in the past, I've always made it optional, but in this dish, I feel like it's quite important. This is what I call shrimp foie gras. It's basically shrimp tamale, which is the orange fatty stuff in shrimp heads that's been cooked down with some seasonings. My grandma did not use this, but she always included shrimp heads in the stir fry, so she got fresh tamale in there. Here, head-on shrimp are harder to come by, so I feel like this is a really great substitute. Now, in the blog post, I will talk about what to do if you don't have it and also what else you can use this for. This is really, really yummy stuff. Very, very useful. And by the way, this is not to be confused with fermented shrimp paste. The two are totally different and not interchangeable under any circumstance. Now, the shrimp. I recommend larger shrimp here so that it could feel more substantial. So go with at least size 21-25, which means there are about 21 to 25 shrimp to a pound. I am using 16-20. You want to dry the shrimp really well to prevent excessive oil splattering. And if you leave the tails on, like I do because I think they look nicer, then just make sure to dry the tails specifically because water likes to collect in there. And that's a trick I learned from a viewer, actually. Cooking time. I'm going to first sear the shrimp. So in a wok over high heat, add just enough oil to coat the bottom. And then once the oil is very hot, you want to lay the shrimp down in 1 layer. And you probably need to do this in 2 batches. Let the shrimp sear until at least halfway cooked and slightly browned on the underside because browning is flavor. This is why I always sear my proteins separately rather than just throwing them into the wok all in one step, which is what Grandma did, but this is the chefy part that I was talking about. Flip the shrimp and let them cook just until they're done. If they don't brown on this side by the time they're done, don't worry about it. We don't want to overcook them just to get the browning. Now take them out, leaving all of the oil behind, and repeat with the other batch. Everything that I've done up until this point can be done in advance. And now this dish is minutes away from being done as I am about to show you. So in the same wok, I'm going to turn the heat on low. And if you did this in advance, do not wash the wok. Okay, all the good shrimpy flavor is in there. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more oil so we have enough to saute the garlic. And then the chunky garlic goes in. This is the part you really want to take your time, let the garlic soften, and that is going to become like the most delicious bits. This is why you want your garlic chunky also. See, it's picking up the color from the shrimp. Okay, once the garlic is soft and starts to turn a little bit golden, I'm gonna now add the 3 friends, and then that just needs 30 seconds. Everything is just sort of pounded up already, so it really doesn't need too long. Not even 30 seconds, like 15 seconds. Okay, and now the shrimp go in, including any juice that has collected while it was sitting. If your shrimp are cold at this point, you want to take your time and heat everything back up. And then the sauce. Wow. And the heat can go a little bit higher now. Smells so good. Just give the shrimp time to heat up, allow the sauce to reduce a little bit, and get all the flavors mingling. If it's too wet, too dry, you can adjust by adding a splash of water. Well, if it's too dry, you add water. If it's too wet, let it cook a little more. You know what I mean. And that is it. Because my shrimp are still pretty warm. They really don't need a lot of time. And believe it or not, it's done. And that is it. You can garnish with some cilantro if you like, but you know what? Grandma never garnished with anything. So if you're in a real rush, this is perfectly fine. I am so ready to eat, but to make this a complete meal, a simple side of veggies is nice. So I recommend my cabbage fish sauce stir fry, which is super, super simple, but Chinese broccoli stir fry would work. I'll put the link to those recipes below. And of course, this is to be had with rice. Get some juice from the bottom of the plate. Make sure you get some chunky bits of garlic. Look at that. Smells so good. It's pretty incredible, the flavor that can come out of such a simple dish. You want this to skew a little bit sweet because that sweetness and garlicky flavor is the magic of this dish right here. A crunchy veg side dish really completes it, so I recommend something like that. And this will become a regular, because once you get a hang of how simple it is, you will return to it again and again, like my grandma did. So the recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. A special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters who help support the show. If you want to know what that's all about, I will put the link in the description below. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ